Hello friends, in this video we will show the images in recycler view in a staggered way. If image height is less than width, then it will cover the according to its aspect ratio. If height is greater than width, then its grid will increase its height according to the image aspect ratio of image ratio. So what we do, we use the fresco library for this, and we define the height wrap content of fresco, and runtime we shade the aspect ratio according to the ratio come from of the image have. Like this image have 500 width and 309, the aspect ratio will be greater than 1 if this is aspect ratio is less than 1, because height is greater than 1, height greater than width. For what we do for this, we use the fresco library and recycler view and card view. This is the main point of our this video tutorial. For this we have layout. In this we use the recycler view, and recycler view have the match parent. Okay, this will cover the all the screen size. So this is the match parent. Now this in manifest we have the main activity. In main activity we open the fragment default, home default fragment. In home default fragment we use this layout where we define the recycle view in XML. Now in home fragment we define the recycle view by reference, the RV pick, and we use the staggered grid layout manager. Staggered grid layout manager shade the grid view of the recycler according to the height of the content of that grid. We define the 2 is the number of column of divided in 2 column width, and the layout manager vertical, so it will scroll according to the height of screen. If we define horizontal, it will scroll in this way. So we use the set the layout manager to the RV recycler view, and we use the adapter for showing the data. For showing data, we are using the this web service method. You can use your JSON locally define in get the reference of that. You can store in SD card and get the reference of this images to the in your code. I am using this one name, and two things we will use. One is name for the showing image, and second one is the ratio of the image. This is the image and this is the ratio 1.7.15. we will use this. If image in your SD card, you can get the image size and you get the height and width, and you can define this, get the aspect ratio. If image is on server, you need to be download the image, then you can get the ratio of image, or you can get the ratio if your web service store data at the time of storage of image. You can store ratio also with the image. By this way you can get the ratio. Now in group adapter, what we do, we have the this is group adapter. We have the group adapter. We will define the layout inflator. In layout inflator we define the fragment home default row. This is the fragment default row. In this we will show the simple drive view. These are the other things, and in this main we using this simply drive view. We define the width is match parent and height is wrap content. You can remove all the thing, you only use the image. I am using all the things, but it is not relevant to this tutorial. We can focus on this simply drive view. We define the match parent and height is wrap content. Now this is, and on view by under, what we do, we holder do SPPix in view holder of recycler view. What we define the simply drive view and position. This is not using this one. If you want to click listener to open the image in larger view, you can use cell position and define the click listener here, but we are not using click listener at this time. So you can find this click listener on my other tutorial. You define the reference of simply drive view by pick, and the ID is the pick, you define is the pick. So on one is the constructor of the object character. On create view holder, we define the get the reference of layout. On bind view holder, what we do, we define the UI.parse. You can use your array list. If you are locally, you can define the name of image you store locally of your web service. You can store the name of web service. If you are using locally, you can define local name. If you are using server, then you have to get the response JSON and get the data in parse. You can define the name and you set the aspect ratio, float, item dot image ratio. You need to set this one if you want to staggered view. Now this is the count, this is item dot count, and this is our array list. I am using array list from web service in parse data, but this is not concern of this tutorial. You can get data locally also, stored locally and store the path of SD card image, but you need to use two things: define row with match parent wrap content. Another thing is you need to use the staggered grid view layout method, and number of columns you want to show. We are using 2, and set the adapter and set the group adapter. In group adapter, you define the view holder, where you define the simple drive view positions view holder. You get the reference of view holder by using view, and on create view holder get the reference. On bind view holder, you set the path. Now let's see run this program. So it will fill the or expand according to the height of the image. You can use content also, where content will be increased according to the its height or wrap content. No need to use the image. You can do with the text also. Okay, they get this. Thanks.